Morning back at home and in the home studio. Holiday? What holiday? Now, this could have been a lot worse. Nation Thailand reporting 30 shops damaged in fire near Ramkhamhaeng Airport Link station. Now, all the stations along the airport link, especially down the city end, Pattaya, Makassar, Ramkhamhaeng, are very busy. And the story says the Ramkhamhaeng station of the airport rail link was temporarily closed Monday morning after a roadside shop house some 4 metres away caught fire. I'm glad to report, although it looked fairly serious at the time, some 30 shops were damaged, but luckily nobody was injured. The fire had broken out in a 3-storey shop house on Ramkhamhaeng Road's Nassa Street at about 4:30am. And the station was reopened about 8:30am, although the use of the escalator was suspended. So when I first saw a video of that incident last night, it certainly looked a lot more serious. Luckily, no one injured. Now, there's been a few changes to the ways you go in and out of some countries neighbouring Thailand. A lot of people still contacting us about the 60-day visa exemption. Now, according to a government spokesperson, it was meant to start yesterday. But I've had multiple people contacting me saying they arrived in Thailand yesterday, July the 1st, and they got a 30-day stamp. So I'm asking you, if you're arriving in Thailand, or if you know anybody who's arriving in Thailand yesterday, did they get a 30-day visa exemption or 60-day? Apparently, some 93 countries are now meant to be getting a 60-day visa exemption. So, would like to hear from you. Let's go to these other countries though. VisaGuide.world, although it says up the top there on its logo VisaGuide.news, travellers required to present e-arrival card along with their visa to enter Cambodia starting on the 1st of July. All travellers wishing to visit Cambodia must be aware that from July the 1st, they're going to have to present an electronic arrival card at least 7 days before entering the country. And the digital entry card, known as the CEA or Cambodia e-Arrival, will streamline the process, they say, for travellers and provide a hassle-free start to their journey. It will also replace the traditional paper immigration form, health form and customs declaration, consolidating them into one convenient online portal. The e-Arrival card is free of charge. It can be made on 2 channels, the official government website, which allows for online submission, and also the Cambodia e-Arrival app, which is available on the Apple Store and Google Play Store. For the time being, the story says the process will apply to travellers who arrive by flights into Phnom Penh and Siem Reap airports. But if you enter Cambodia by land crossing, boating or through Sukhumvit Airport, you'll continue to use the paper-based forms. And it says although the online submission deadline is 7 days before arrival, people who missed the online submission can still execute the e-arrival process with the tablets available at Siem Reap and Phnom Penh airports. So you're meant to submit your arrival details 7 days before, but it looks like they're going to give you a bit of a pass card at the airport if you forget. Well, that's Cambodia. Let's check Laos. The Bangkok Post reporting Laos allows border pass holders to stay longer and go further. Laos has extended stays and allowed travel outside the point of entry for Thais using a border pass from July the 1st to the end of the year. And they say to attract more tourists, everybody's in on the game. Thai visitors using a border pass or temporary border pass can now stay in Laos for 10 days. This is according to the Vientiane Times. And they can also travel to 2 adjacent provinces. Previously, stays had been limited to 3 days and had to be spent in the province of entry. And Thai border pass holders, I think that means if you have travelled through a Thai border, must also use the services of a Lao tour company registered with the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism. And pass holders must also leave Laos through the same legal checkpoint they entered through. So nothing stays the same. That includes ways of getting in and out of Thailand, especially at least across those 2 borders. As far as the 60-day visa exemption is concerned, well, I'm none the wiser, so I'm really just waiting for you to be able to tell me if you know of anybody. If you do, get them to do an actual screenshot. At least then that's some sort of verification. I'd just like to acknowledge our sponsors, 5 Star Marine. at 5starmarinephuket.com. I think they're over there. And over here we've got Beach House Thailand, who will have another couple of beach houses on the way soon. We'll tell you more about that. There's links in the description if you'd like to find out more about offers to TNT viewers for those two businesses. Now, some people who have been touring Thailand and have run into a few complications. Well, they've been saved. Firstly, up in Chiang Mai, this is from the PattayaNews.com. Tourists in Chiang Mai rescued from raging river by elephant Mahut team. And a group of tourists were stranded in the middle of a raging river after their raft capsized in the Chiang Mai province on June the 28th. Now, I have to say, even though I'm sure the water was very warm, that would have been a terrifying experience in itself. Fortunately, they were rescued just in time by a team of elephant riders. And the post showed a group of tourists enjoying the rafting when their raft capsized due to a sudden strong current. The tourists were stranded in the middle of a raging river, clinging to the tip of a tree. And we've got some video here referred to in this article on their Facebook page. Upon witnessing the incident, the Sen family Mahut team, riding their elephant named Valentine, bravely entered the rushing waters. The video only shows one person, but apparently there were 4 or 5 people clinging to those trees and being brought, as it says, bravely back by Valentine. Valentine, not necessarily what you'd think as a traditional Thai name, but indeed he or she did a magnificent job bringing at least that tourist back to shore with the help of the Mahut. Everybody safe. Now, how about down to Phuket? And this person also stuck up in a tree. We go to the Khalsa English Facebook page. Officials from the Kamala police station in Phuket called for a bucket truck, like a cherry picker, and a rescue team to help a 26-year-old Saudi Arabian tourist, Mr. Wahab, who was stuck in a casuarina tree 5 metres above the ground. And this occurred after he was blown off course by the wind while parasailing in front of the Kamala beach at 6 p.m. on Monday night. The rescue team subsequently managed to bring him down safely. Mr. Wahab just hanging around waiting for the rescuers to arrive. Monday evening, not a lot of wind around on Phuket at that time, despite the horrible floods they had over the weekend. So not really sure what blew the parasailing team off course. Anyway, again, in both cases, saved, and well done to the Thai rescue teams. And thumbs up to Valentine. Let's go to what's happening with these constitutional court cases, because they are really milestone cases and could directly affect what's happening in the tip of the balance of Thai politics. BangkokPost.com saying that move forward, Seta, that's the Prime Minister, rulings by September. The Constitutional Court's likely to conclude 2 high-profile cases which will decide the fate of the main opposition Move Forward party and that of the Prime Minister, Seta Thavisin, before September. And the court's scheduled to consider the 2 cases when it meets tomorrow. The judges will review evidence submitted by those involved in the cases. And early last month, Mr. Pita, that's Pita Limjaroenrat, formerly the leader of the Move Forward Party, claimed at a press conference that the Constitutional Court has no power to dissolve the Move Forward Party, and its previous ruling on the party's stance on the Lèse Majesté law was irrelevant to the ongoing case. Unlikely to endear him with the Constitutional Court. Now, a quick follow-up to that bombing in Yala. Suspect in Yala car bomb attack arrested. This is from Thai PBS World. And an official from the Tanto Tambon Administration Organisation in Yala province has been taken into police custody on suspicion that he was involved in the car bombing in front of police apartments on Sunday, which killed a female teacher and injured 34 others. And police identified the suspect as a 27-year-old, Mustafa, an assistant civil engineer attached to the Tanto TAO. According to the police, the pickup truck used in the bombing was stolen from the Tanto TAO office. It was driven into Si Banglang Road through a checkpoint at the Ban Nasot Banang Sata district and parked near the police apartment building at 10:13 a.m. Moving on to Pattaya now. This story from the PattayaNews.com. Indian tourists brawl in the middle of Pattaya Road at dawn. Tourists later detained by police, and 2 Indian tourists were spotted attacking their fellow countrymen on a busy Pattaya street on the morning of June 29. And 2 men were viciously punching and beating another Indian man in the middle of the road. The video also showed a Thai woman, presumed to be the girlfriend of one of the assailants, rushing in to stop the fight. And this all happened at the entrance of Soi 16 in South Pattaya, which is typically frequented by a lot of tourists day and night. The article goes on to say that this incident follows a recent case where 2 Vietnamese men brutally attacked their business partner, leaving him severely injured. And it notes that the incident also occurred in Pattaya's tourist area, raising concerns about the city's safety and its impact on tourism. Which takes us to this story in calcidenglish.com. Pattaya residents demand increased security due to foreign street fight. And it's kicked off this sort of sentiment that residents in South Pattaya are calling for police to increase measures to prevent tourist fights in the area after another video of a brawl was recorded. I usually say it takes 3 incidents to get the authorities interested, and of course the media are covering this, and you add these 2 incidents to what happened a couple of weeks ago in Soi 6 with the British men, and suddenly I think we can look forward to another charm offensive, another walk of police down the street. Don't know what it's going to be, but I think we'll probably see some sort of response to these latest incidents. As we go to this story and I read the headline, I'm sort of thinking to myself, what about Thailand? Well, let's go there. This is the Straits Times. Australia becomes the first country to ban the sale of vapes except at pharmacies. So I was thinking, isn't vaping already illegal here? Isn't it already illegal to buy and sell vapes and e-cigarettes? The story says vapes in Australia can now be bought only at pharmacies as part of a world-first crackdown that came into effect on July the 1st and includes a ban on most flavours. And says vapes or electronic vaporisers will need to be sold in plain colours and packaging and cannot be advertised or locally manufactured. And the Health Minister said vaping is a tool from Big Tobacco deliberately designed to recruit a new generation to nicotine addiction. So I'm not really sure if Australia is the first country to do this. As I said, I'm pretty sure it's been illegal in Thailand for a while. I think the only difference between Australia and Thailand is that at least in Australia it might actually be enforced. And that brings us to the end of today's quick look at some of the stories around Thailand. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date. Please support our sponsors. Subscribe to the channel. I think I've said it all. We'll see you tomorrow.